Rambo, Commando, Bloodsport, Stallone, Schwarzenegger, Van Damme. We need these movies. We need these heroes. We crave action, a complete escape from reality into a world of new possibilities. Sadly, Hollywood doesn't care to give us sustenance, but other countries do. One burgeoning film industry that remains undiscovered by most Americans and Westerners is Indian cinema. In 2023, they brought us yet another hit blockbuster in Pathaan. I was blown away by this movie. You just don't see this kind of movie much anymore in American theaters. So let's explore what makes Pathaan such a kick-ass film, shall we? If you're new to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on all new reviews I put out weekly here at Off the Cover. And without further ado, onto the video. Hollywood throughout the dark ages of cinema has been obsessed with one thing and one thing only. They only care about their own political narrative that only appeals to a minuscule sliver of the population, and it's starting to show by their waning box office profits. The vast majority of people have largely tuned out what Hollywood's been churning out, but people still yearn for and demand good films. So it's no surprise that good films have started to penetrate Western markets from the likes of Korea and India. With films like Train to Busan, Three Idiots, and now Pathaan, international filmmakers have taken up the mantle and started giving the people what they want. That's how basic economics works. If you're not going to provide the people what they want, the people will find it elsewhere. Pathaan is a film that has it all. A fun, entertaining story, excellent character development, and solid action and cinematography. It takes place in the YRF spy universe of films that encompass the Tiger films of the past several years. I was largely unaware of this franchise, but wow, I'm glad I discovered it. This is the sort of film that draws audiences back into theaters. The spectacle of the film should be experienced on the big screen. Pathaan's story is woven from bits and pieces of the past and present. The film begins in 2019 with a rogue Pakistani general calling upon the devil to help him get his revenge on India. In order to stop the threat, an elite team of ex-soldiers and operators are called in. Their leader, Pathaan himself, played by the super popular Shah Rukh Khan, or SRK as he's widely known. He's a man with a past and I must say an excellent backstory which I don't want to spoil. The devil to which the rogue general was referring is Jim, played by John Abraham. Jim leads Outfit X, a private terrorist group, and plans to bring India to its knees because the country failed to save his wife and daughter. It's a fairly simple premise that surprisingly has a few twists and turns I didn't see coming. It's nice when a film can surprise even a veteran moviegoer like myself. Jim kidnaps two prominent Indian researchers in a daring high-speed chase through the streets of Dubai. The fight choreography is fast-paced and phenomenally acted. This action sequence is probably one of the most over-the-top I've seen on film, with heavy inspiration from Captain America and the Winter Soldier as well as last year's Batman. Once the scientists are kidnapped, it's up to Pathaan and his team to figure out Jim's plan with them. But in the meantime, Pathaan encounters the beautiful femme fatale Rubina, played by the gorgeous Deepika Padukone. I quite enjoyed her character because you didn't really know which side she was on from scene to scene, which kept you guessing and engaged. There are some very fun scenes, so I won't divulge any spoilers. Suffice it to say, we find out that Jim is trying to use a weapon of mass destruction on Delhi. From here, the game of cat and mouse starts, spanning the globe from Spain to Russia to Afghanistan and India. There are some excellent action sequences, especially in Siberia, which is heavily influenced by Fate of the Furious, albeit much more realistic. You can also tell that the director is a fan of video games, because the Russian prison train sequence definitely draws inspiration from Uncharted 2 on the PlayStation 3. All of the inspiration from other films doesn't make Pathaan any less original though. The acting in Pathaan is excellent. SRK mentioned in an interview that he always wanted to be an action star, and it's a shame he hadn't got his chance until now, because he absolutely dazzled in the role. At 57 years old, SRK doesn't miss a beat and is on par with the likes of Tom Cruise in terms of action filming. As a villain, John Abraham turns in a very compelling performance and solid chemistry with SRK during the action sequences. A standout in the film definitely has to be Deepika Padukone, who kept the audience on their toes until the very end. Another great touch was the film's respect for the aging hero. Pathaan's team is full of ex-soldiers who have been sadly discarded after their wartime use was over, which is a problem that plagues many of today's modern militaries throughout the world. It was a nice touch that the bedrock of the film was built on showing that they are still useful and can accomplish a great many things. Another aspect of the film with which I was pleasantly surprised by, watching this film as an American, was how enjoyable the story was despite not being American-centric as so many movies are. A vast majority of cinema contains that America rah 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 jingoism that's grown stale over the years. Pathaan didn't have that same overwhelming patriotism, which was a breath of fresh air. The story and its characters certainly contained patriotism and love for one's country, but it was a love for anyone's country, not just the USA. One other thing that makes this film stand out from American action movies was the inclusion of a couple of song and dance numbers. Very popular since the inception of Indian cinema, the song and dance defines Bollywood films. Pathaan knew its audience and with a wink and a smile, provided what the audience wants with what I can only equate as a music video inside a movie. Make no mistake though, the two sequences were amazingly choreographed and the music wildly entertaining and catchy. I was humming these songs all the way home. Overall, Pathaan is a movie American audiences want to see, but that Hollywood refuses to make. The film shows that the action star that we all loved growing up as children is very much not dead, but vibrantly alive in Indian cinema. The film had everything a good film should, and what I keep harping on so much in all my videos. A good story, excellent character development, and competent cinematography. A fast-moving screenplay ensures no dull moments, even for a minute. It's a 2-hour roller coaster from start to finish. The tight storyline is very efficient, but also allows for what I consider very compelling character development. I greatly enjoyed Pathaan's backstory, and the weaving of scenes from past and present kept me on my toes and engaged the entire time. Honestly, if Hollywood's not providing what I want to watch, I'll turn to its competitors. Make a good movie and I'll watch it. I don't really care where it comes from. One thing is for certain, I need to watch way more Indian films because it's clearly obvious that there's a whole lot of good material there. Now, can we please get a sequel, as soon as possible?
If you like this video, hit that like button and subscribe for more great content.